morning is 7:04 on this Monday, June 28th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on a Monday. We appreciate you being with us and are glad to be here, of course. And we're ready to talk about Absolute Kubota this morning. T.R. Kirby is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing fine. Don Hamlet told me last week he'd be on special assignment today and somebody else would come. He didn't say who, but I figured it would be you. And it's good to see you again. How's it going?
It's going good. Business is still booming. Every department is at their fullest capacity, trying to help and serve customers anywhere from sales, parts, and service.
Well, it's the good old summertime, and there's a lot going on.
Yes, sir. The weather's been good for hay, cutting grass. We always need a little bit more rain. It's about due for us a couple rain showers, which will be good. Keep the grass green and keep it growing.
Well, these people that mow yards for a living, especially, the rain will interfere maybe if it rains all day or something, but a few showers to keep that grass growing, I know they love that.
They do love that, and it keeps their turf, their programs, it keeps that program working, keeps that grass green from dying off, so they don't have to do any renovations or anything like that. But a couple rain showers here and there gives them that downtime to bring in their equipment and have it maintained.
Yeah, and you know too, having grown up on the farm and know all about hay equipment and getting up hay and so on. If you got hay cut, you want to get it up before it rains, and I don't think that's been too big a problem here lately. It might have been earlier in May.
Right, correct, yeah. The dry spells definitely help everybody get up their hay crop and everything like that. And then, but we need that rain to rejuvenate that ground as well, get it back growing again, so we can get maybe a second and third cutting off of it.
Right. Well, the rain helps, but Absolute Kubota helps when it comes to all this equipment too. You got everything you need to do a hay crop, right?
Right, yes, sir. Any disc mowers, rakes, balers, and tractors to go with it. They're all there, anywhere from small tractor, 23 horsepower, all the way up to 140 horsepower tractor.
Well, we want to remind everybody what we're talking about is at 1506 West Main here in Lebanon. And of course, you've got the Kubota lawnmowers, large and small there. I think you're more a hay guy, but from what Don has said, but I know you know enough about lawnmowers to sell somebody.
Right, yeah, yes, sir. We keep the lawnmowers there in stock, the tractors in stock, the hay tools in stock. RTVs is a big one that a lot of people use. They're very fast movers along with the zero turns. They're just a lot of people around here have some acreage they like to maintain, and that's where a lawnmower and a side-by-side really come in handy. And then if they got some bigger tasks they want to take care of, they get into a tractor.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned earlier, and we probably can't emphasize this too much. You can go to a lot of places and buy equipment, but you can't go everywhere and find a service department and a department that has all the parts that you're going to need, or if they don't have them, able to get them to you the next day. I think you've got a wonderful thing there.
Right, correct. Full sales, parts, and service, and that really helps the customer with that peace of mind, saying years down the road, if something was to happen to their piece of equipment, they can come get it worked on or get the parts to do it themselves.
Right, and especially the commercial people, the lawn mowing people. I mean, time is money, especially with them. I mean, as nobody wants a piece of equipment to have to sit here for 2 or 3 weeks, regardless of your situation. But somebody that's doing that every day like they are, they need quick repair.
Yes, sir, they do. It comes down to sales, but it's also service after the sale. That's what you have to remember walking into a dealership such as ours is what's the service going to be after the sale.
Well, I pass by your place quite often and see the equipment that is out there. You're able to display it more since you moved to 1506 West Main, but there's those orange Kubotas everywhere. I don't know what each one of them is. One of these days I'm going to find out, but I hadn't made it yet.
Yes, sir.
You've got it, haven't you?
Yes, sir, we do. Of course, we've got the construction equipment as well. anything from a little excavator that'll fit through a door all the way up to an 8 metric ton machine, and skid steers and wheel loaders to go along with that.
Well, it's all waiting for you there. Now, by the way, next Monday is July the 5th, but most people are going to be closed. What about
Right.
you?
Look at our website, and it'll be updated on there, and our Facebook page as well. We quite haven't made a decision yet.
Okay. Well, honesty is the best policy. You may or you may not. But I will tell, I said that to say this.
Right.
We won't be here next Monday. So I guess your coming today makes up for next Monday or so.
Yes, sir.
Well, TR, good to see you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. TR Kirby, the Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. From weed eaters to hay balers, they've got it. And we're 10 minutes after the hour. I have invited Philip Warren to come and be with us this morning. Philip Warren, and I know your title, but it slips me right now, but you're with the Election Commission, been there for a while. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
What do we supposed to call you?
Administrator.
Administrator of Elections. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Well, how are things with you?
Doing good. Doing good.
Well, I told you the other day I was kind of reaching out, and I appreciate you coming. Sometimes, in fact, I knew when I got this Monday taken care of. I think I'm full up for the rest of this week and most of next week. But this Monday, I was fishing a little bit, and I caught you.
Well, there's always something to talk about with elections. Always.
Yeah, right. And I told you, I said we got the primaries that will be. A little less than a year, about 9 months,
That's
I guess.
Right.
And then, of course, your building that you're working on and going to be moving into. So between those two, we ought to have plenty to talk about this morning. Let's talk about your building first. The old Fred's building over beside the post office, the county bought that and decided that, and you've explained this before, but you were, I think, running out of space. You, the old post office building you've had that you renovated and spent probably less than $50,000 on to, that served well, hasn't it?
It's done really well. That's a wonderful old building. Thing is, the county's growing. You know, I think we all know that. We're one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing county in Tennessee. And with that comes a lot of other things that have to be. You know, we have a lot more equipment, a lot more responsibility now than we had 10 years ago. And the building's been great. I think the Election Commission's been there since, I think, 94. So quite a while. But it's time to change that. We've got 2 locations now. We also lease a location over at the school headquarters, where the central office over there. That's quite a bit bigger than where we are now in our administrative part. So this is going to give us an opportunity to bring everything under one roof.
Well, I think there had to be some renovation done. I mean,
Yes.
Obviously there would be, and I don't know whether you run into any snags or not, but where are you in the process, and when will you be there?
They started probably about 6 weeks ago and are coming along fantastically. It's every day is it's just fun to go watch. It's coming along quite well. The walls are up. I think drywall goes up this week. Plumbing's all done. It's coming along.
Has it been pretty much a total remodeling of that building?
It's just remodeling inside. You know, the building itself was sound, good shape. It's just pretty much you have a wide open retail store and you turn it into an office building, and the county has storage there also. So It's just pretty much doing walls inside, electrical, that kind of thing.
Will you be able to have everything there? Will you won't need the space?
That's right.
Okay.
That's going to be the great thing. This building, and somebody had asked, I think, in one meeting we had, how long will this last, the Election Commission? I think 50 years at least. I mean, it's going to bring everything under one roof. There's a little room to grow still. We planned, as we helped design this building, for future growth. Because we don't know, technology changes daily, and, other things change, but this building should take care of the Election Commission for Wilson County for many, many years.
Well, what's your office going to look like? You planned it, yeah?
It's going to look like it does. It's going to be different.
You're not. It doesn't take a great elaborate office for you.
Not
I don't
at all.
think.
Not at all. Not much time spent in there, actually.
Yeah. How long before this will be complete?
There are different estimates. Hopefully this fall we'll be able to move in. That's our goal.
Well, right now, your staff, is it about the same number that you've had?
It is. We've got 5 full-time, including myself, full-time people, and that's it's adequate for now. We have increased one person over the last 2 years, but we had when I came in 2011, we had 6 full-time and 2 full-time part-time, and we got that down to 4 by leveraging technology and some other things over that period. But as we've increased in business, we've had to add a person, so we're up to 5 full-time.
But you're adequately staffed?
Yes, yes, we are.
Well, that's good.
We are.
Okay, it is time for us to take a break. Philip Warren, Administrator of Elections, is with us this morning, and you are listening to Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $49.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. Tire rotation and safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Police have rolled up on the scene of a crash at the intersection of 8th Avenue and Gale Lane. That's over in the Belmont community. Traffic's on the increase now, even more on I-40 coming through Wilson County. All that traffic headed into Hermitage. It's busy, but it's moving down. 65 right now, passing Vietnam Vets. Prince's Hot Chicken is now open inside the Assembly Food Hall near the National Museum of African American Music. You can always order online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Hey Lebanon, what's for dinner? If you find yourself asking or answering this question often, you're in luck because I have the answer for you. The Edge Food and Drink at Lebanon Country Club is now open. The newly remodeled restaurant is open to the public Tuesday through Sunday and is the newest gathering place for lunch, dinner, or watching your favorite teams. Follow The Edge Lebanon on Facebook and Instagram to see weekly food and drink specials and live music lineups. Check them out online at theedgelebanon.com. See y'all there.
The Farm Bureau Expo is your premier location for an event of any scale, making meeting in the middle easy and accessible for event planners and guests. The Expo proudly participates in the Tennessee Pledge to allow our guests to attend events with confidence. For booking details or to explore events to attend, visit farmbureauexpo.com or check out our Facebook page at Farm Bureau Expo. We look forward to seeing you at the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Philip Warren is with us here on a Monday morning. I had planned to talk about your new building, which we have. I think we've rode that horse long enough, so to speak. Wasn't really thinking about redistricting, but I mean, being administrative elections, you're right in the middle of all of that, and that has to do with the census, doesn't it?
That's right. Every 10 years, Tennessee and the whole nation redistricts so that every representative represents an equal number of people. Mm-hmm. And that comes up 2020 census. The numbers will be out. They're predicting now sometime in September we should have those numbers, and the county commission will put a redistricting committee together, and all of us work together to create a new district where everybody's represented equally again.
Are you automatically a part of that because of the...
Yes, state law puts us in because we have the voting precincts and actually we have the technology now, the software and all to help with that process.
Actually, from what you've told me, I think even the last time or sometime we were talking about this, how you can... You have the technology, you can just, you can move a line, and you know how many people have been affected. I mean, it's not like having to go and add all this up. It's all right there with the technology.
Yeah, in days gone by, you used a magic marker on a map. Today, we have GIS, geocoding, all kinds of technological advances, which are wonderful, and it makes it more accurate. Redistricting is done by census blocks, so it's not a matter of we get to guess where some line is. They are preset by the federal government, by the Census Bureau. But we have the opportunity to do that, and it moves much faster, and it's much more accurate. than it
Well,
has been
now,
in the
of
past.
course, we have 9 congressional districts, and there was thought at one time we might have grown enough to get another one, but I think we'll stay with
so.
9. And that's usually 3 in the east, 3 in the middle, and 3 in the west. Any reason to think that's going to change?
That's up to the state legislature, and my guess is good as yours what they'll do.
Okay.
We have no clue. I have no clue.
Well, but we do have our state legislature, our state senator, and state representatives, and their lines can change
They
somewhat.
will.
You're not involved in that.
There again, that's state legislature. The only thing that the county's involved in are county offices. All the commission districts will be redrawn, where every commissioner represents an equal number of people. Road zones for the 4 road zones. School board will be redrawn. Every district, every zone in Wilson County will be redrawn. That's the only thing that the county commission has jurisdiction over.
How political does that get? I mean, we hear of gerrymandering, and I mean, if you look back, there's some of that's gone on, especially state and federal. Whoever was strong politically had sway over how the districts were drawn, and they were usually drawn to benefit their party, to be honest about it, to some degree.
With my experience, which is limited in Wilson County, that's not the case.
Yeah.
I think in 2011, when this was all done after the last census in 2010, the county commission redistricting committee, their only guidelines were don't district anybody out of their district, and make the lines where we can explain where they are. Don't put them on a creek or somebody's fence line, but put them on a road or a power line or something like that, so that when you say, where's my line, you can say, well, it goes down Leeville Pike, or it goes down, that TVA line.
Yeah.
So they were very open to that. I haven't seen that political bent to the local.
Well, you have our rural area, for the most part, hasn't grown as much as urban.
Correct.
And I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing that some of our rural area districts their representatives might have a little more geography, a little more territory. Some of the ones that's really urban might be a little more narrow.
I think, we haven't seen the numbers yet, so I really don't know. But, we're seeing this county grow in every direction.
Yeah.
Wherever you drive, there are new houses, there are apartments, there are businesses. So that could be so, and probably is. That's one of the hard things to explain with redistricting and how a district is that geographically some may be huge and others very, very small, but they have the same number of people.
Mm-hmm.
I always said the animal control problem in the west end of the county in a lot of cases is the dog barking in the condo next door, and on the east end of the county it's the cow in the road. So it makes a big difference. There's a lot of geography, but the same number, the bottom line is the same number of people are in each district, and that representative represents that number of people.
Well, I take it from what you're once you get the numbers in here and you sit down and look at this, it's probably not going to take very long to come to a conclusion and an agreement of how it ought to be.
Well, it takes longer than you think.
Oh,
There's a whole lot of work there because census blocks are very small, and in our county, as fast as it's growing, a block in 2011, 2010 might have been a farm. With 2 people living on it. Now it's got an apartment complex sitting on it with 500 people on it. So that makes a big difference. It's a technical process, but it's it's an open process, and I think people will get involved this time more than they have in the past, and maybe hopefully understand it better.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. Let's move to. We got an election coming up. Next May?
Next May, that's correct.
And we have some qualification deadlines. But before we even get into that, how these primaries come about. And I think there can be a primary or a caucus, and it depends on the political party. And in the past, we haven't had much of this.
Not in a long time. I think back in, prior to the 1980s, there were primaries about every year on the Democratic Party. That was the only party that was here, so that was what was pretty much the primaries. It kind of fell out of favor in Wilson County until last year. I think we had a primary in March, along with the presidential preference primary. And this year, the Republican Party has called for a primary, and I understand just from a newspaper article that the Democratic Party may also. Those will be in May. That'll be on May the 3rd.
What determines that May date?
That's state law.
Okay.
That's state law.
Well, if there's a a federal thing like there was, 2 years ago, then we go with it? Right?
That's right. State law allows, when we have a presidential preference primary that the state pays for, they allow them to move party primaries in conjunction with that. Because just the administration side of it, if you have an election in March and then one in May, it's pretty tight to have your equipment ready and everything done. Plus, it saves the county money by doing that, putting it all together.
Well, May sounds better than March.
Yes.
To me in a number of ways, but I certainly understand why you wouldn't want two of them, and you go with the presidential to save money and just have one instead of two.
That's right.
But this, okay. Now let's talk about some deadlines and what all's involved here. But the party, it's up to the party to have this.
That's correct. Primaries are nominating elections. They're not general elections. There are four party members, people that are affiliated with or intend to affiliate with that party on the day they vote. So really, if Democrats have a primary and the Republicans, it would be for people that consider themselves part of those parties when they come vote. The independents don't vote in the primary. What these primaries do are elect candidates, nominate candidates from that party to be on the general ballot in August. So it's run by party rules.
Has this been maybe a little difficult for some people to understand?
It has.
Yeah.
It has. Our neighbors, DeKalb County, Sumner, Rutherford, all those traditionally have party primaries, have had for years. We haven't in Wilson County. So it's a kind of a new thing here. The law hadn't changed. It's been the same for 50 years. There's no law change. It's just Wilson County parties, the Republican and Democratic Party, have not taken advantage of it or not seen fit to have a primary.
Okay. If somebody wants to run as a Republican in this primary for whatever office, there's a deadline.
They could start, the first day to pick up petitions is December 20th. They can start picking up petitions then. They'd come in and get a petition as a Republican or whatever. Independents also. All candidates have to.
If you're going to have your name on the ballot eventually.
That's right. Even as an independent, the deadline is February 17th at noon.
To turn in a petition.
That's
but anybody that's going to be even in the general election has got to have a qualifying petition, and you pick that up your office. I mean, is it 25 signatures?
25 signatures from the district you're running.
25 registered voters have to sign your qualifying petition.
That's correct.
And it's fairly simple, isn't it?
It is, and we go through. We've got a whole petition booklet. Anybody that's run before gets that. It goes through the whole process. We try to give you all that up front.
You've got to make sure that you need to get more than 25
Absolutely.
just in case somebody is not qualified to sign.
If somebody comes in with 25 and they guarantee they're all good, that's pretty rare because people move, people don't register. People will tell you they're registered and they're not. And we do follow up with those people and get them registered.
Okay, so we will have the Republican primary. Then the people go vote. What's it?
May the 3rd.
And
May the
there'll
3rd.
be early voting prior to that.
That's right.
Okay. If the Democrats decide to do that, it would be the same way.
Same thing.
If they have a caucus, they can nominate people
That's
to be
right.
on the ballot as well.
In August. They would be on in August, right?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it. And what about, but an independent has still got to qualify at the same time?
That's right.
You can't wait and see who the nominees are in the Republican and if we had a Democrat primary, and then wait to run as an independent.
That's correct.
Everybody's got to qualify at the same time.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody qualifies at the same time. Republican candidates, Democratic candidates, if they call a primary, would be on the ballot in May. Independents would not, but they would be on the ballot in August, along with the winner of the Republican and or Democratic primary.
But anybody, if they get a correct qualifying petition and want to run as an independent, I mean, they have every right as much as anybody else and would be on the general election ballot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you expect? Do you expect many independents?
I have no idea. That's the great thing. You don't know, and it's a wonderful process. And we get a lot of questions. People, what do you think we need to do? What's it? That's not our job. We don't give advice. We'll just give you the facts, how you do it, what you do. Those are political decisions, and the Election Commission's not in the political business.
Well, one of the things I think we have had here, I want to think, even all my life, but especially in in the last many years that we've had fair elections.
We have.
And that everybody that's supposed to vote gets the opportunity to. And I wish the whole nation had elections as fair and honest as I think we have here in Wilson County.
Well, thank you. We do, and I think transparency, accountability is a big part of that. We don't have anything that's not available for folks to look at. We do an election institute. We did a couple of them in 2019, did one last year. We're planning on doing some this fall that show elections. It's a one-day event. We do it on a Saturday. It's from like 8:30 till 3 o'clock. We go through everything from the foundation, which are our registrations, the things we do today, registrations, list maintenance, all the way through how we work with the media. Show people that come in about the machines, how they work, how we prepare for elections. You know, we audit on the front end. We hear a lot about audits now. Our county does it before an election so that we can sleep well at night knowing that if you vote for candidate A is going to show up on that result. That's how we protect that on the front end. Then we do audits again on the back end after the election to verify that what we said is true. Those are the kind of things that I think would enhance the people's perception of elections if they could see and understand how the whole thing works. And we do our best to make sure that happens.
We're out of time. Thank you so much for coming out. I think you've shared a lot of good information with us this morning, and I'm sure we'll have you back from time to time.
Thank you, Coleman. Always will.
Philip Ward, Administrative Elections. That's part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Please keep it here, FM 98.9.
And at 7:31, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day, servicing Exmart, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm still looking at this crash out here, blocked at the center lane. It's 24 eastbound at Shelby here up by the football stadium. Again, they're trying to move the damaged vehicles right now, but it's just crazy slow through here at the moment. Hopefully it'll improve. That's 24 east here at Shelby on the scene of this accident. Ripley's Aquarium, Sleep of the Sharks Family Edition. It's perfect for the kids. Check it out, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to RockyWilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to RockyWilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
She's taken care of you your whole life. Now it's your turn to take care of her. But with a family of your own and other responsibilities, there just aren't enough hours in the day. That's why it might be time to call the Pavilion Senior Living. From bathing, dressing, housekeeping, and meals, the Pavilion Senior Living is committed to being senior living you can trust for your loved one. Find out more at pavilionseniorliving.com or call 444-5556. That's 444-5556.
To kick off the work week, skies will be a mix of sun and clouds with temperatures topping out in the upper 80s. A few scattered showers are possible today as well. On Tuesday, rain chances continue with highs climbing into the upper 80s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty. Professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Welcome to part two, a Monday morning, and Billy Mullinax joins us to talk about Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Oh, good to see you.
It's always good to be here.
Good to talk about no haggle pricing, where everybody pays the same great low price, and that's what Rocky Williams is known for.
It's exactly right, Coleman, where we price our cars and not our customers.
Well, have you had a good week?
We've had a great week. We've had a great month. The month ends on Wednesday. So
The same day the calendar
same
month
day
ends.
the calendar month ends
That
this
doesn't
month.
always happen, the
It
automotive
does not,
month and the calendar
it
month.
does not always happen that way. We follow whatever the manufacturer does. So if they say the month ends on the 1st or the 2nd, it ends on the 1st or the 2nd.
Well, this of course gives us a little more to talk about this morning, in that your trade-in might be worth a little more here at the end of the month.
Yeah, it might be worth just a few $100s more, Coleman, as we try to wrap up really, really strong. We don't want to miss anything over a few $100s, so might be worth just a little bit more this week.
Well, you're open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., your sales department.
Yep.
You can buy a car during that time. But most people start out by going to your website, RockyWilliams.com.
Might even see your neighbor there, Coleman.
Yes, sir. New and pre-owned cars, all the entire inventory actually is right there, RockyWilliams.com, and you see what you like, and you come to 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet, and see Billy or one of the salespeople, and then make history.
That's exactly right, Coleman. And the thing that's really good about our website, of course, as we mention very, very often, the price that we have posted there is the price that everybody gets on new and pre-owned. The new inventory, it includes rebates only that everybody in the Southeast Business Center qualifies for. We don't include rebates that you may not qualify for. If you do qualify for those, we certainly will get them for you, and you may actually get a little lower price because of the added manufacturer rebates. Doesn't change our price, but the manufacturer gives rebates to various groups, and that changes throughout the year. If you're a part of a group or a particular credit score, or if you finance with certain institutions, just a lot of different things that we certainly want to look for those rebates, because if we don't give them to the customer, there's not a thing in the world we can do with them. So we're always anxious to find you extra money.
But one thing you don't do is put them out there like they were for everybody and then take them away when they don't qualify.
And a lot of dealers are doing that this day and time, Coleman. It's almost weekly now that we hear from customers that have been to other places that when they got there, they went on a price that was advertised, and then they get there, and in the small print it says, must finance with this financial institution, or must trade in this type of vehicle, or a lot of stuff like that. And so your price can go up $1,000 to $2,500 really, really quick, Coleman.
That's just that can't make people happy.
Well, it doesn't. It's very deceptive, I feel like, and but there's a certain percentage of people, evidently, that even though they do that, will still stay there and buy a vehicle.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's not the way you do, and I think people appreciate the being above board, and just as far as I know, everything you do.
Yep, it is, Coleman. And if I buy a vehicle, I'm going to pay exactly what somebody walking in off the street does. And we say it very often, but Rocky Williams, he bought a vehicle several months ago for a grandson, paid exactly what we had it posted on the internet for. Yeah. So that's as fair and as honest as you can ever be, Coleman.
Got to be. We need to talk about a couple other things. Of course, the service after the sale. We brag about your service department a lot, and rightly so.
Well, they do a great job. Will Daly is our service manager. He's got a great group of people out there around him to take care of people when they come in and need service, whether it be just routine maintenance, and it's still vacation time. So, if you hadn't had your vehicle checked out, before you go on vacation, just bring it in and get us to check it out and see. You may need a few things to make sure you make it back home safely.
Right. It's a whole lot better to be safe than sorry.
Yes, Yes, it is, Coleman. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right?
We're going to keep coming up. Yes, sir, it is. The other thing before you go, next Sunday's actually July 4th. Most people, including us, going to be off the 5th for the 4th. What about you at Rocky?
We will be open on the 5th. If the 4th fell on a work day, we would be closed. But we will be open on the 5th.
All right. Well, I'm sure you're going to have a number of people come by and sell a few cars.
We sure hope so, Coleman.
All right, but we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Much. Billy Mullinax, he's the general manager for Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road. We're 21 minutes before the hour, 21 before 8 o'clock here on a Monday morning, the 28th of June. And I want to welcome Heather Bay as my guest for part 2. Heather, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to see you today. It's always nice to have a guest. And as I was telling Philip a little earlier, I did a little fishing for today. and I wound up with Philip Warren and Heather Bay. And Heather, it is good to see you. And looks like you're doing quite well.
Yes, sir. Doing well. Thank you very much.
I think we have a lot to talk about this morning, but you haven't always lived in Wilson County.
No, sir, I haven't. I was born in Alabama. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and moved to Tennessee in 1978 when my dad and mom were transferred here with the Waverly. He worked with the railroad, and there was a situation in Waverly that he was a claims representative for. He needed to take care of for the railroad. So it took him about 30 years to take care of those cases, and we ended up staying here the rest of our life. So,
well, we want to know the rest of the story.
Okay.
What about your education?
I left Birmingham school system, went to Mount Juliet Elementary, Middle School, and High School. Graduated the class of 1990 from Mount Juliet. Went from there to Vol State, MTSU. So I went to and was in fashion merchandising and designing, which is not. My son would pick on me and say, "Well, how well did that do you?" I said, "Well, it dressed you very well, my son." So dressed my kids really well with that education, but I've been able to embrace a lot of different skill sets with with all those educations through my life.
Well, we will tell everybody. I think most people who know you're out at the airport. I think fixed-based operator.
Yes, sir.
Is what you are.
Yes, sir.
And
have a great team.
There's a lot of things to talk about from college to getting there, and I know you've dabbled is the right word to use, but you've been involved in the music industry.
We have.
You've had an interesting life, it sounds like.
I have.
But how did you were studying fashion designing and this sort of thing, and then you don't take that route?
I did not. No, sir. I actually fell in love with Kerry Bay, one of the locals from Tennessee. He grew up in Donaldson and Mount Juliet, and then once we were married, we lived in Lebanon, and we did elope. We were quite swiftly. We were swept off our feet. And
you did fall.
I did fall in love. We were very strongly rooted on where we wanted to grow as a family, to raise our children. So we started over in the Crossroads community. We went to church over there, and then shortly after that, we moved to Berea, and our children all attended and graduated from Friendship Christian School. And then we bought a larger farm so that we weren't, because we also farm, so we were kind of going all over Wilson County between Trousdale Ferry Pike to Coles Ferry to Hartsville Pike.
Yeah, you did say Crossroads. For those who hadn't lived here,
Tucker's Crossroads. I should. That's right. I do get. I am told I abbreviate, but that's one of the acronyms.
Listen, when I went to Taylorsville School, we would play Crossroads, and we never said
Tucker's Crossroad.
So I understand.
Well, Tucker's Crossroad is an amazing community. Just every bit of this county has just been such a blessing to our family. Yeah. And I've always been sensitive to the fact that I come from, and that I'm also married to a family with a history of giving back, whether it's to the nation, to the state, to the community, to the church. Between my grandfather, who we celebrated his 99th birthday at the end of July, but then he passed away the 1st of June this month. He lived an amazing life with the military, between Bronze Stars and then my other grandfather, who was in the Marines, and Carrie's dad, who was in the Army, who also started with Carrie's mom, Bay Southern Bread, and now Carrie and Kevin run that. And then also Mike Redden, my dad. He was in the Mountain Gillette politics as knee deep as they would let him, because he would fight a good fight. So I take ownership to that. This has been the lineage of my life and the heritage, my heritage for me to instill in mine and Carrie's children. We have 3 amazing young men, Richard, Jordan, Cordell, who've blessed us with gorgeous, significant others in their life. And
How old are they now?
So I'm going to get the years wrong, I know, because we're in between birthdays.
I have a problem too. I've
So
got 3 boys.
we're somewhere around 22, 26, and 28.
All right, okay.
But we have a 5-month-old we have a 5-month-old granddaughter, Henley Marie, and Anaya is 8. So we're just absolutely loving and embracing this moment.
All right, there's 2 things I want us to talk about. It's time for us to take a break, but want to talk a little bit about the music industry, because you've got to know a little bit about that, making some records and musical talent and that sort of thing. And then the other, we'll get around to talk about the airport before you leave. How's that?
Sounds like a plan.
Right. Heather Bay is with us. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. They moved this wreck pretty quickly, but it still left us with a little bit of a backup at times. 24 East here out by Shelby. As you come up past the football stadium, it's just so heavy here this time of the morning. Now we're checking a wreck 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. As you come out of Rutherford County, that traffic volume has picked up quite a bit, actually, in that area in the last 15-20 minutes. True Friends Moving Company is now hiring. Call them today at 615-240-2811. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now's the time to get the Kubota Z200 mower. It's built to cut quickly and like a pro, so you can get the zero-turn agility and effortless precision you need to turn your lawn into a work of art. Right now, get the Kubota Z200 mower for 0 down and 0% APR for 48 months, or save up to $200 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main Street in Lebanon. Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Heather Bay is with us this morning, has graced us with her presence. No, really, I appreciate you being here. Let's talk about music a little bit.
Okay.
How did that all come about?
Well, it wasn't my plan, I'll tell you that. And it might have been Carrie Bay's plan, my partner and husband in life. He's always written songs as far back as I can remember.
Really?
I actually met him when I was 14 years old, but when I was 20, I just turned 21 when we had got together. And he, for as far back as I can recall, he's always written songs and had a love and passion for music. And I have a love and passion for music. It's what motivates us as humans. Between the mathematical and the science that has to go in to create a song is just poetry. It's within itself that I'm not able to duplicate at all. But that college education that we discussed earlier was able to come into fruition with this this path, because in the early 2000s we created a company called Backerstick Music, and that was when we were doing some business with a show that was called Nashville Star. If you remember that show that was out for a little while. Carrie had written some songs. We had some artists that we were working with, and they needed just the right glue, and we happened to be that group that makes really great glue, and no matter what our projects are or passions. And for years, I worked in. I had this education, and so we together with another group of people ended up, and we started this, and during this journey we built a recording studio, and it's a full service recording studio. It started out, we used it for the public, and then we just honed it back in a little bit, and we use it for our artists because we also have a publishing company. I'm getting a little too excited because I don't get to talk about this much, Coleman, so pardon me, okay? And we've seen the industry change. We are now looking and facing digital downloads where the ownership and royalties have diversely changed on how they go out. And and we opened a publishing company. Carrie's a writer. What goes straight with writing is publishing. So of course he wants to own his own publishing. And we had some more artists that we were working with, and it was just a great marriage when we created another entity within this Backerstick Music format, and it's called Bet the Farm Music, and that's the publishing company. Now, I do have to say, we bet the farm. We borrowed money against the farm, that we farm on, to finance that venture, and it's tough. It's a tough industry to be in, but when you have a passion for something and you're so driven and you've got hope and you see a light at the end of the tunnel of possibility, you're gonna fight the good fight. You're not gonna fall down. So we've walked this walk diversely through the 2008 change. During that time of the digital downloads, prior to those, I actually produced hundreds of music videos and commercials. That was where that education for me came into play as the role for Backerstick Music. Was I was able to produce and work in the production for World, and it just took off for me. Brooks and Dunn, Kelly Pickler, Jason Meadows, George Dukas, Joe Nichols, Keith Urban, Emmylou Harris, and Sam Bush, which was an absolute amazing duo to work with. And Mute Math, Farm Bureau, the very first Farm Bureau commercial right here on the square in Lebanon. I knocked on the doors and asked the right people if we could come home and do that first Farm Bureau commercial here.
How about that?
Tennessee Bank, Ford, Dodge, Sonic, Diff sunglasses that are sold right here on the square in Lebanon. A lady by the name of Jessie James Decker. A lot of men know who she is because she's beautiful, but a lot of women know who she is because she has a gorgeous set of sunglasses, and countless others. So we were able to come in together with our talents and create and fill the hole in the music industry at that time, because we had that passion and that drive to continue on and not settle. So as our seasons change as humans, because we've gone from raising our children that were small in the early ages of the 2000s to now we're empty nesters and our grandbabies come and visit us now. We've taken Backerstick Music to an all new direction, and it's beautiful. Did you know that there's a recording studio here right in Lebanon, right on the Cumberland River, right across the county line? It's a full service studio, and with a breathtaking view. And Carrie Bay will not let me live it down if I don't tell you how it's spelled, because I have to relate this all to the farm. It's on a farm, and that we raised tobacco at that time. So the name of the company is Backerstick Music. So it's Backerstick, BACCERSTICK.com. And then we've got a Facebook page. You can look it up and you can see the beautiful studio. It's got a magnificent grand piano and multiple sound rooms. And so it's always we're always looking for new talent. We're always looking for new songs. We're always looking for new music. But I have to say, at one time, pre-08, we were a record label, but we're not that anymore. We're not looking to be that record label. We want to be that glue again that connects you to the A-list players of Music Row and Nashville for studios. If you've got a project that you want to bring in and you want to create and you want to make sure that it's done with quality. So,
well, are you staying pretty busy?
We are. We've got Corey Callis. He's an individual who grew up in this area. He's managing the studio for us, and he's totally embraced it. He's keep making sure our technology is up to date, because if I begin to tell you all of the pieces that we have, I'm probably going to tell you some of the technology we had 2 years ago, because it evolves so quickly with this industry. I'm sure you know as well. Yeah. But he's doing a great job, and they're opening it up now to actual writers' retreats where writers can go out there. There's beautiful landscape. You're on the Cumberland River, on a little, not quite 1,000 acres. And so you've got the whole plate, you've got the whole house to yourself. And it's not my house. It's a house, but every once in a while I might feed you or something, because I love to cook. I love to feed people. So, but Corey's doing a great job of bringing people in, working with new artists and growing artists. And then also, I don't think I'm allowed to say who he's working with right now, but they're a group that I did an album years ago, and they've come back, and they're doing another album. I think this is probably their third album.
Well, I know the music industry changes a lot. One group that I admired, and maybe in a different way than most, everybody loved the singing, I think, of the Statlers, originally known as the Statler Brothers, and they changed their name to Statlers and all that. But so many of the songs they did, they wrote. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a double whammy there.
It used to be a double whammy.
All right.
Today, due to the new formula, it's no longer the double whammy. As if you're a singer and you don't have if you don't have a piece of the publishing or the writing, then you're not getting those royalties anymore, because when it's played on the radio, I should say, or when it's sold, and it can get very mixed, because you can have three writers and you can have three writers and you can have two publishers, and it can go on and on and get diluted. So I've got a friend here in town, and she has a husband that sang songs for years, but he didn't have any writing. And so now it's like, well, where do I go from there? Yeah, right. And with the digital downloads, it's completely changed this industry, because every time a song's played or purchased, the royalties are half to the publisher, half to the writer, and it can be broken and divided within multiple instances. And so I encourage every performer out there, write with someone.
Yeah.
So you can get in that. So you can get in that piece of the pie.
All right, we've got about 3.5 minutes here. I want to talk a little bit about the airport.
Okay.
That the opportunity became available. There was a need for somebody to come in all of a sudden, I think, at the airport, as I recall, something like that.
Yes, sir. About a little over 14. So as the music industry, video world was going to digital, and Mute Math was no longer spending astronomical amounts of money for music videos or bands like them or their labels, it took them to groups of where they did it on their iPhone for $3,000 and still would. So Heather Bay had to figure out where she wanted to go and what she wanted to do. And we had a group of friends that were already investing in what's called the fixed base operation, and they asked us, Carrie and I, to come on board. We shortly did. Myron Laster had been hired. It's a great airport manager for the first face to be seen for multiple years when he was home with his family. Because when you're flying corporate, as he had done for years, you're not at home. And so he and I both had small children. And he and Dana had growing children, and they needed their dad close by. And I had small children, and they needed me close by. So I believe it was God's hand putting us in. I think we work really well, a lot like brothers and sisters do. But he did really well for us as being the front face. until about 2015. And so when we came in and we bought in, and then we eventually were bought at, our other partners left, so we went from Ready Air to Direct Flight Solutions. And Direct Flight Solutions, not far after that, I think that was 2012, we just continued on with as the owner. And Myron worked for us a little bit longer, and then he was able to he went back flying corporate, which I believe he's embracing it these days. He's enjoying it. So, and then also we've got a great group that came in, and because those days were days of 4 and 5 and 6 people that worked there. That's all that ran that airport back then. It was Myron Laster, Gene Graciani, and Heather Bay, and maybe 1 or 2 other part-time people. That's not where we are today, Coleman. It is astonishing to where we are today. We went from those days of 5,800 aircraft in the air and landing here at Lebanon to about 45,000.
Wow.
So 6, 7 people aren't going to cut it anymore. So the business has grown. And those who were college kids wanting to learn about aviation, one of them is now running the airport operation. Miles Dillon, you may know him. He's the senior airport operations supervisor, and he's got a great group underneath him. He's got Pierre Ballone, Sam Ludwikowski, Jacob Roth, and they're all taking care of the airport operations and servicing the individuals as they come and go from the airfield. And then we've got Gene Graciani still with us, and he's got a great team underneath him, and they're maintaining the aircraft that come in and need help. And but it's no longer just we used to say, Myron and I would say we're mom and pop, but we're not married. We're brother and sisters in Christ. That's it, yeah. So it's no longer that small thing, because this community has grown. The city of Lebanon has embraced it. Yeah. The county has embraced it because we've been forced to face it. And that's how it's been with the airfield as well.
Heather, we're out of time. Does the future look good?
Future looks amazing.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. Appreciate it a lot. Heather Bay, that's it for a Monday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman & Company. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.